The Golden Bird. A long time ago, there was a king who had a lovely pleasure garden in his palace, and in it stood a tree with four golden apples. When the apples were nearly ripe, they were counted, but the very next morning one was missing. This was reported to the king, and he ordered a watch to be set every night under the tree. The king had three sons, and he sent the eldest into the garden at nightfall. But by midnight he was overcome with sleep, and in the morning another apple was missing. On the following night, the second son had to keep watch, but he fared no better. When the clock struck 12, he too was fast asleep, and in the morning another apple was gone. The turn to watch was now come to the third son. He was quite ready, but the king had not much confidence in him, and thought he would accomplish even less than his brothers. At last, however, he gave his permission, so the youth lay down under the tree to watch, determined not to let sleep master him. As the clock struck 12, there was a rustling in the air, and by the light of the moon he saw a bird whose shiny feathers were of pure gold. The, the bird settled on the tree, and was just plucking an apple when the young prince shot an arrow at it. The bird flew away, but the arrow hit its plunge, and one of the golden feathers fell to the ground. The prince picked it up, and in the morning took it to the king and told him all that he had seen in the night. The king assembled his council, and everyone declared that the feather like that was worth more than the whole kingdom. "If the feather is worth so much," said the king, "one will not satisfy me. I must have the whole bird." The eldest son, relying on his cleverness, set out in search of the bird, thinking that he would find it soon. When he had gone some distance, he saw a fox sitting on the edge of the wood. He raised his gun and aimed at it. The fox cried out, "Don't shoot me, and I will give you some good advice. You are, go- you are going to look for a golden bird. At nightfall you will come to a village where you will find two birds opposite each other. One of them will be bright lighted, and there will be a noise and traveling going on in it. Be sure you do not choose that one, but go into the other, even if you don't like how it looks so well." How can a stupid animal like that give me good advice? But he pulled the trigger, but he missed the fox, who who turned tail, who turned pale and made off into the woods. Thereupon the prince continued his journey, and at nightfall he reached the village of the two men. Seeing and dancing was going on in one, and the other looked poverty-stricken and decayed. "I should be I should be a fool," he said, "if I were to go into the visible place when this good one is so near." So he went into the noisy one, and lived there in propriety and without forgetting the bird. His father and all his good counsel, uh, and all his good counsel. When some time had passed, and the eldest son did not come back, the second started in the quest for the golden bird. He met the fox, as the eldest son had done, and it gave him the same good advice, of which he took just as little heed. He came to the two winds and saw his brother standing at the window of the one from which came sounds of revelry. He could not withstand his brother's coming, so he went in and gave a fill to it. up to a life of pleasure. Again, some time passed, and the king's youngest son wanted to go out and try his luck, but his father would not let him go. "It is useless," he said. "He will, he will be even less able to find the golden bird than his others, and when any ill luck overtakes him, he will not be able to help himself. He will he has no backbone." But at last, because his son gave him no peace, the king let him go. The fox again sat at the edge of the wood, begging for its life, and gave it good advice. The prince was good natured and said, "Be calm, little fox. I will go thee no harm. You won't you won't repent it," answered the fox. And so that you may get along faster, come and mount on my tail. No sooner had he freed himself than the fox began to run, and over stock and stone at such a pace that his hair whistled in the wind. When he reached the village, the prince dismounted and following the good advice of the fox, went straight to the shabby inn without looking about him. And there he passed a peaceful. In the morning, when he went out into the field, the fox said, "I will now tell you what you must do next. Walk straight on till you come to a castle in front of which a whole regiment of soldiers is encamped. Do not be afraid of them. They will all be asleep and snoring. Walk through the midst of them straight into the castle, and walk through all the rooms. At length, at last, you will reach an apartment where the golden bird will be hanging in a common wooden cage. The golden cage stands near it for the gold cage hangs stands near it itself. But beware, whatever you do, you must not take the bird out of the wooden cage. Go for it will be worse for you." After these words, the fox again stretched out his tail and just took his seat on it. And away they flew over stock and stone, till his hair whistled in the wind. When he arrived at the castle, he found everything just as the fox had said. He went to the room where the golden bird covered in a wooden cage. The golden bird was nearby, and the three golden apples were scattered about the room. He thought it would be absurd to leave the beautiful bird in the common case, so he opened the door, caught her, and put her into the golden cage. But as he did, the bird uttered a piercing shriek. The soldiers woke up, rushed in, and carried him away to prison. Next morning he was taken before the judge, and he confessed all he was sentenced to death. The king, however, said that he would spare his life on one condition, that he should bring him the golden horse, which runs faster than the wind. In addition, he should have the golden bird as a reward. So the prince set off with many sighs. He was very sad, and for where was he on the golden horse? Then suddenly he saw his old friend the fox sitting in the road. "Now you see," said the fox, "all this happened because you did not listen to me. All the things keep up your spirit. I will protect you and tell you how to find the golden horse. You must keep straight along the road, and you will come to a palace in the stable of which stands the golden horse. The wolves will be laying around the stable, but they will be safe and snoring, and you can safely lead the horse to them. Only one thing you must be aware of. Put the old saddle of leather upon it, and not the gold hanging near, or you will rule it. Then the fox stretched out his tail, and the prince took his seat, and away they flew over stone and stone, till his hair whistled in the wind. Everything happened just as the fox had said. The prince came to the stable where the golden horse stood, but when he was about to put the old saddle on his back, he thought, "Such a beautiful animal will be disgraced if I don't put the good saddle upon him," as he feared. Hardly had the golden saddle touched the horse than he began neighing loudly. The grooms awoke, seized the prince, and threw him into a dungeon. The next morning he was taken before the judge and condemned to death. But the king promised to spare his life and give him the golden horse as well, if he could bring him the beautiful princess out of the golden palace. With a heavy heart the prince set out, but to his delight he soon met the faithful fox. "I should leave you to your fate," said the fox, "but I will have a pity on you once more, help you out, help you out of your trouble." For the road leads straight to the golden palace. You will reach it in the evening, and at the night when everything is quiet, the beautiful princess will go to bed, go to the bathroom, take a bath, and as she goes along, spring forward and give her a kiss, and she will follow you. Lead her away with no only on no account allow her to bid her parents good-bye, or it will go badly for you. Again the fox stretched out his tail, seating himself upon it, and off he flew over stock and stone till his hair whistled in the wind. When he got to the golden palace, he was just as the fox had said. He waited till midnight, and when the whole palace was wrapped in sleep, the maiden undertook the task. He sprang forward, gave her a kiss. She, she said she was quite willing to go with him, but she implored him to let her say goodbye to her parents. At first he refused, but as she cried and fell to his feet, at last he gave her leave, and only had the maiden step from his bed when he and everyone else in the house woke up. The prince was seized and was thrown into prison. The next morning the king said to him, "Your life is forfeited, and you can be spared only if you clear away from the front of the window the mountain which stands out from you. I must be done in 8 days, and if you accomplish the task in time, you shall have my daughter as a reward." So the prince began his labors, and he shuffled without ceasing. The seventh day he saw how little he had done. He became very sad and gave up all hope. In the evening, however, the fox appeared and said, "You do not deserve any help from me, but lie down and go to sleep. I will do the work." In the morning he woke and looked out the window. The mountain had disappeared. Overjoyed, the prince hurried to the king, told him that his condition was fulfilled, and whether he liked it or not, he must keep his word and give him his daughter. So the prince and the king daughter went to the went together, and before long, the cake was not stolen on. "You certainly have got the best of all," said he, but the golden horse belongs to the maiden of the golden house. How am I going to how am I to get it? How am I to get it? Asked the prince. "Oh, I will tell you that," answered Fox. "First take the beautiful maiden to the king, who sent you to the golden palace. There will be a great joy when you appear, and they will bring out the golden horse to you. Mount it, and once you take it, at last for all, for all with the beautiful maiden, and when you have taken her hand firmly, swing her beside you and gallop away. No one will be able to catch you, for the horse goes faster than the wind." All this was quickly done, and the prince carried off the beautiful maiden on the golden horse. The fox was not far off, and he said to the prince, "Now I will help you get the golden bird too. When you approach the castle where the golden bird lives, let the maiden look out, and I will take care of her." Then ride the golden horse into the courtyard of the castle. There will be a great rejoicing when they see you, and they will bring out the golden bird for you. As soon as you have the victory again, then without too much, I take the baby again. When these plans had succeeded, the prince was ready to ride on with all his treasures. The fox said to him, "Now you must remember me for no help." "What do you want?" asked the prince. "When you reach that wood, shoot me dead and cut off my head in your cause." "It would indeed be gratitude," said the prince. "I cannot possibly promise you such a thing." The fox said, "If you won't do it, I must leave you, but before I go, I will give you one more piece of advice. Beware of two things. Buy no, gal- buy no gallopers, and do not sit on the, on the edge of the well." After saying this, he ran off into the wood. The prince thought that is a strange animal, but him he was, who on earth, who on earth would want to buy delicate birds, and desire to sit on the edge of the well he has never yet seen. He rode with the beautiful maiden, and the road led him through the village where his two brothers had stayed behind. There was a great hoop in the village, and when he asked what was what it was about, he was told that two persons were going to be hanged. When he got near, he saw that they were his brothers, who had their, wasted their possessions and done all sorts of deeds. He asked if they could be set free. "Yes, if you ransom them," answered the people. "But when will you throw your money away in buying such wicked people?" He did not stop to reflect, however, but paid the ransom for them, and when they were set free, they all journeyed on together. They came to the wood where he had first met the fox. It was deliciously cool there, though the sun was boiling outside. The two said, "Let us sit down here by the well and rest a little and eat and drink." The prince agreed, but during the conversation he forgot that he was about what he was about, and never dreamed of any foul play. Seated himself himself on the edge of the well, but his two brothers moved backwards into it and went home to their father, taking with them the maiden, the horse, and the bird. Here we bring you not only the golden bird, but the golden horse and the maiden from the golden palace. And, movie. Thereupon there was great rejoicing, but the horse would not eat, the bird would not sing, and the maiden sat and wept all day. The youngest brother had not perished, however, happily the well was dry, and he fell upon soft soft moss without being harmed. Yet he could not get out, even if the great snake of faithful fox did not forsake him, but came leaping down and scolded him for not taking his advice. I cannot leave you to your fate, though I must help you get back to the light of day. He told him to take tight hold of his tail, and then he dragged him up. You will come out of every danger, even now, said the fox. Your brothers were not sure of your death, so they have sent warriors all over the world to kill you. The poor man was sitting on the poor man was sitting on the roadside, and the prince refused close with him. And by this means he succeeded in reaching the king's court. Nobody recognized him, but the bird began to sing, the fox began to eat, the king's men left off crying. So astonished the king asked, "What does all this mean?" The man answered, "I do not know, but I was very sad, and now I am gay. It seems to me that through that man must have come." And he told the king all that had happened, although the two brothers had threatened her with death if he told anything. The king ordered every person in the house to be brought before him. Among them came the prince disguised as an old man, and all his eyes, but the man killed him once and fell on his neck. And the wicked brother was seemed to put to death, but the prince was married to the beautiful maiden and proclaimed here the king. But what became of the poor fox? Long afterwards, when the prince went out into the fields one day, he met the fox and said, "You, you have everything that you can desire, but there is no end to my misery. It still lies in your power to release me." And again he implored the prince to scoop his head and cut off his head and his paws. At last the prince consented to do as he asked, and no sooner was it done than the fox had changed into a man. He was no other than the brother of the beautiful princess. At last set free from the evil spell which so long had lain upon him, there was nothing now leading to his happiness for the rest of their lives. The end.